We're in Module 5 and this is the final lesson of this module and of this course. And I've saved this one for last because in many ways, this is one of the results of building a culture of worship and putting into practice all the things that we've been discussing. We're looking at songwriting. This lesson isn't a how-to on songwriting. I have another course all about songwriting for worship because I believe so strongly in it, and songwriting has played a very big role in my experience and understanding of worship. It's also been an amazing tool to encourage, inspire, and instruct. I believe as you grow in your worship leading, the next step should be songwriting, and we'll see why in this lesson. So in this lesson, we're going to discover the obstacles to songwriting, the impact of songwriting, and songwriting in the presence of God, with some personal application to end. This lesson is for everyone on the team, because I believe everyone can write songs, although there are some things you need to know. Many times, homegrown songs are not preferred because they're possibly not as well written, and the team needs to work on arrangements and structure. This can create a block to the idea of writing your own songs, but it can also be a fantastic growth opportunity for the team if everyone is on board with singing your own songs. That's why it's easier when the culture of worship has been established. Songwriting is a craft that can be practiced and improved. There are definitely things to learn about songwriting that can help improve them considerably, but you've got to have the confidence in the process, purpose, and possibility of writing your own songs if you're going to prefer them over one from Hillsong or Bethel or Passion or anyone else. This confidence comes from leading the way that we've been talking about. It's knowing that you're best positioned to know where your church is at on their journey in worship and can write for that season. It's understanding where songwriting fits in worship and how to do it well. If you're experiencing consistently great times in worship, you may find your next step in the journey is to include more and more of your own songs in your sets on Sundays. Writing timely and meaningful worship songs for your church is almost impossible if you don't have a bigger view of leading worship. When you understand that your role as worship leader is to inspire and instruct from a place of compassion for the crowd, writing songs that do just that for your church becomes a lot easier and a natural next step in the journey. Choosing songs from the global top 10 is obviously much easier logistically, but singing a song that someone in your church has written can add life that other songs just can't. When you only sing songs from other worship teams like Bethel and Hillsong, Elevation, and so on, you're relying on those songwriters to write something that can work for your church. The songs that you do sing stay in circulation a lot longer, and the church doesn't get challenged as much to consider what they're singing and why. Writing songs takes time and effort. Everyone needs to be up for allowing your team to write and see where God takes you. It's unfamiliar territory that has to be explored, but the rewards far outweigh the effort. I remember watching a soccer game on TV where a player came on in the last 10 minutes of the game and scored a goal to lead his team to victory. If you're into team sports, you know what an impact player is. An impact player sets up the rest of the team. An impact player delivers crucial passes and inspires the team to believe they can win. An impact player knows what needs to be done in order to win and has the ability to get the job done. Songs are like a sports team. Many of the songs you will write are impact songs. They're written for a very specific reason and during a particular season. They don't have to last for years. You may only sing them once or twice. You may find some last a lot longer, but songs you write have a shorter lifespan in your church but a greater significance. Homegrown songs highlight that worship is a living walk with God. Songs have a personal and universal application when written well. This is what top writers get right in their songwriting. This way of writing is a skill that can be learned and refined as you write more. songwriting becomes another powerful tool in worship leading and shaping the culture of your church. So that's the case for songwriting. I think it's a strong one. But this module is about the presence of God. So what does songwriting have to do with God's presence? Songs help translate your personal relationship with God into universal inspiration for others. Writing relevant, timely songs help people draw near to God. Being in tune with what God is saying and where our churches are at allow us to write songs that help people make praise and worship part of their lives. It's relevant and fitting for the season. New songs highlight aspects of God in fresh ways. They bring fresh revelation about who God is that causes people to respond in worship. Great worship songs can give people the vocabulary they need to call on God, and they create space for praise and worship. If you want to get into the how-tos of songwriting, check out worldclassworship.com/songwriting and sign up for that course where I take you through all the things you need to consider and the how-tos of writing worship songs that add life to your church and take your church further on the worship journey that God has for you. So in this lesson we've covered the obstacles to songwriting, the impact of songwriting, and how songs can assist us in drawing near to God. The personal application: is songwriting the next step for you? What are the obstacles to writing your own songs? Is it skills that you need to acquire or improve? Is it a worship culture in your church that needs to shift? Whatever it is, use your workbook to record your answers and decide on next steps. The workbook highlights the main obstacles to songwriting and steps to overcome each obstacle. This is the final lesson in this module and in this course. I know as you put into practice all we've discussed in this course, God will take you and your team and your church to new levels in worship. If you haven't already, join the Facebook group to stay in touch and learn from other worship leaders on the same journey, and get further resources and input on your worship journey from me. Thank you for including me on your worship journey, and I look forward to hearing what God does in and through you as He takes you and your church from strength to strength in worship and knowledge of Him.